Let's discuss the pros and cons of an online nursing degree. Number one, a pro is flexibility. Flexibility is one of the most important factors when considering an online nursing degree. Most of us have very busy lives and hectic schedules, and seeking an online degree has the potential to fit into those random moments of available time throughout the day. Quite often, virtual classrooms can be accessed at any point in the day. So, flexibility, definitely the number one pro of an online nursing degree. Number two, we've got convenience. Without question, an online nursing degree offers a significant amount of convenience as well. For example, commute times, when compared to more traditional academic learning, will be significantly reduced or possibly eliminated entirely. The student also has the opportunity to expand their academic options without regard to geographic constraints. The remote nature of an online nursing degree also permits the student to attend programs throughout the country without having to move or relocate. So, convenience definitely an important thing as well, especially when we're so busy these days. You also can foster an effective discourse in online nursing degree programs. An online format is an effective way to create informative dialogue. Course discussions typically don't require simultaneous interactions between students, and this can encourage an informed conversation as students have more time to think about, process, and articulate their responses instead of solely depending upon the knowledge of a professor. An effective online discussion has the potential to unlock the teaching qualities within every student. You also have been seeing really great movement towards hybrid program development. As distance learning continues to gain momentum, many schools are refining their programs to include a degree of hybrid learning. These opportunities combine primary distance learning with an occasional in person lab or training to help people learn. These programs aim to combine a greater variety of learning opportunities in order to further prepare nursing students for their future careers. While considering programs, individuals seeking nursing degrees should take a moment to compare and contrast hybrid learning opportunities. If hybrid learning or in person labs and training are required for a portion of your online nursing degree, then physical proximity to the program becomes necessary. As online learning continues to grow, many programs are establishing satellite locations, and these locations could provide opportunities for in person learning even when the student lives far away from the primary campus or the program. So, increasing hybrid opportunities, you're seeing it more and more, just sort of basically including in person learning opportunities once or twice a week has really started to take off. Of course, cost is a big pro or can be a big pro. Take that into consideration. Not always. Without a doubt, the rising costs of education is an enormous burden upon the student population today in general. And that definitely applies to people seeking nursing degrees. The same cost must be considered while seeking your online nursing degree. Just because a program is conducted remotely doesn't mean that they'll be any less expensive than the traditional on campus learning. Unfortunately, there have been quite a few remote learning programs that operate on a for profit basis. Basically, this whole online learning journey that the world is going on is going through started with a lot of for profit programs and a lot of for profit schools. So, as such, they kind of preyed upon the need to create a remote experience and in turn charged way too much. So we're seeing now that the world is continuing to embrace the online learning, and a greater variety of programs are being developed as a result. Mainstream universities are developing and refining their own remote learning programs, and they're also creating a significant amount of competition. And this competition is driving down costs and offering a wider range of tuition than ever before. So, as you pursue online learning, especially with an online nursing program, you really have to be certain to compare costs. And oftentimes now, an online degree can be obtained with a significant savings attached. So, those are just some of the few, or some of the many, I should say, pros for an online learning opportunity for a nursing degree. How about some cons? And these cons can be pretty big, so you have to decide for yourself whether or not they're sort of non-negotiables for you. You know what I mean? So, first is discipline. There is a lot of freedom afforded to an online nursing degree student, and that might not benefit everyone. Online education requires a distinct individual capable of self-discipline. The student has to have a significant amount of control over their learning experience, and that can be a blessing for those seeking flexibility or a burden for anyone struggling to organize their daily life. Unfortunately, for many online learners, a hectic lifestyle is precisely the reason for seeking a distant learning program in the first place. So that means that we have crazy lives. We've already said it a number of times throughout this, and a lot of times you choose to do an online nursing program because it will fit into, maybe you've got a couple kids, or maybe you have to work a lot, or maybe there's a combination of both. Maybe you've got some other circumstances in your world that just create chaos, and you think that getting into an online nursing degree program will make it easier for you to accomplish your goals. But that chaos can create problems. So you do have to be able to look deep into your own life, your own drives, and decide whether or not that chaos that naturally exists in your world is conducive to an online learning experience. So, that's the tough one, in my opinion. That is definitely the tough one. Do you have the discipline to succeed in an online learning environment? Only you know the answer to that question. Another con can sometimes be the program. Traditional learning experiences are a product of hundreds of years of trial and error. They have been refined to provide a high quality education, and in contrast, online education is relatively new. Not that we're not moving fast, not that we're not incorporating things that we've learned from traditional learning environments and sort of hybridizing them and incorporating them into an online experience, but effective learning experiences are still being developed. That's what you have to know. To get the most out of your online nursing degree, it is important to do your research. Experienced and engaging online instructors have the potential to dramatically influence your career trajectory, right? Unfortunately, effective distance instruction is still a work in progress for many programs. So you have to decide whether or not the program you're attending is an effective program. And right now, we are just so close to the inception of online learning that it can be hard to distinguish whether or not a program A or program B is better for a learning experience. So it's going to take a lot of research for you to figure that out. It's just something that you're going to have to hit the pavement on and really, really put the effort into. We also have a problem sometimes with the technology. So technology can be a limiting factor when participating in an online nursing degree. Distance learning, of course, is inherently dependent upon access to the internet and a consistent use of a computer, laptop, and phone. So these luxuries can be quite expensive and can also be a significant burden upon students. Furthermore, an impactful learning experience will depend upon a degree of technical literacy. So you'll have to be able to function within the boundaries of the learning environment, which is going to be virtual, which is going to be distance, which is going to be remote. And that's going to require that you have a technical literacy, how to use your computer, how to upload certain papers to the internet, how to download and put some programs onto your computer that are going to help you learn better, quicker, and fine tune your learning experience. So, unfortunately, effective distance learning instruction, like it requires a lot of personal skill, and it requires you to be um, technically proficient. And if that is a barrier to you, you're going to have to find a way to learn how to do that first before you can truly succeed in the online learning environment. There's also a bit of an online stigma out there where, online education is certainly gaining ground, right? Let's say that upon traditional educational options, but it's worth noting that a negative stigma is definitely still in existence. Within the grand picture of education, online options have been around for a really tiny amount of time. As such, it should not be surprising that prospective employers might value an online nursing degree less than one obtained through in person campus based courses, um, just that traditional route that everybody's used to. Fortunately, there's an active transition of this mindset, and it's gaining momentum every day. That's very important as more people participate in online education. So you have to weigh, you have to pick your career choice, and then you have to weigh the importance that the people that already exist within that career, the human resources group, the say you want to go into a certain hospital and be a nurse at a hospital, you have to know whether or not they value online learning as much as they do in-person learning at, say, a university. So, and that's something you have to do before you get your education, right? So, uh, like I said, fortunately, things are changing, and it's entirely possible that by the time you're done with this online education for your nursing degree, that you will be able to go into a quick human resource meeting for your interview, and it will not be considered a stigma. It will not be a negative. It won't be a blemish. And that's the great thing about how we are progressing as far as online learning is concerned. So, and lastly, there's also a bit of lack of hands on experience. It should definitely come as no surprise that remote learning generally lacks the immersive hands on experience. And some people learn better that way. Physically interacting with uh, learning opportunities has always been an important factor in processing, understanding, and memory building. And while researching online nursing degree options, it's important to consider whether or not you learn best with extensive hands on experience or if you truly can learn from a remote learning experience. Do you need to get into the weeds, into the thick of things and experience them firsthand, or can you visualize, use your mind, use your memory in order to create long-lasting learning that you can then apply to your future career as a nurse? So, um, it's a tough thing to weigh, that's for sure. Nursing degrees, it could be a poor choice as far as distance learning because there is definitely a lot of hands-on need. There's going to be a need for certain labs. You're going to have to go in and deal with clinicals, things along those lines eventually. So that will definitely be programmed within to an online learning opportunity as they coordinate with various hospitals, various clinics, so that you can get the hands-on experience you need. But it's still going to lack that hands-on experience initially quite often. So um, the key thing to remember is, or to consider is, will this limitation frustrate you and your learning experience prematurely, right? Will it create an opportunity or a desire for you to abandon those dreams of your online nursing degree? And if that's the case, then it's likely in your best interest to seek a more traditional opportunity as far as learning is concerned. So maybe if you think that you'll get burnt out from learning alone and having less hands-on experience, then it might not be worth wasting the time, the energy, the effort, or the money in an online learning degree. So I hope these pros and cons of obtaining an online nursing degree help you out at least a little bit. It's a long journey, and I certainly wish you the best in deciding how the rest of your life is going to be impacted by online learning.